So today I am alone here. Prissy is busy in the lab. She should be done pretty shortly. So I'm going to be with you, alone today. Thanks so much for joining us for yet another episode. It's always a joy to come your way with these episodes. And so let me know when you join the feed. Just shoot a hello, shoot a hi, so I know you are with us. And again, it's going to be another exciting episode. But before we delve into what we have today, kindly go out there and, as usual, let everyone know that DF1 is on. Um, so go out there, share the feed, let family and friends know that it's time for DF1. Um, so let me do the same as you also do, and then we get going. So we live. Okay. Let's see. Good. Okay. So if you've not yet followed us on Facebook, or if you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, or we on TikTok, we on Instagram as well, please do so, so you would always have notifications when we are live. Okay, now as soon as you join in, shoot a hello, shoot a hi. I would want to bring you in and make this very, very interactive. And so as soon as you get in, please let me know, and I'll see you in the comment section, and then we can have a good program. Okay, so basically today I want to share with you some musings. I've been thinking through a couple of things, and I think it would be good to share that with you. I was having a discussion again with a colleague at work, and the person was talking about, of course, marriage, and the fact that um, you need to keep loving your spouse and all. I mean, all through the marriage journey. And I think this is true, right? But I immediately came in with a point that it goes beyond just love, right? And immediately a scripture came to mind. Scripture says that, but God commended His love towards us in that while we're yet sinners, Christ died for us, right? Or other version says that, but God demonstrated His love towards us in that while we're yet sinners, Christ died for us. Now, this was maybe the very first, apart from John 3:16, maybe this was the first scripture I committed to memory. Now, when I was a kid, maybe somewhere very, very young. Now, this it has a very good key to what marriage is really about. Hey, Christy, good to have you on. This gives us a very interesting key as to what marriage is about, right? The demonstration of, love is in the kind of things we do. It's in the kind of actions we take. It's in the kind of decisions we make, right? And so, as we all know by now, love goes beyond the feelings you have when you see someone, or all the butterflies that runs through your stomach when you see someone, especially if you are in an advanced stage of your relationship. I mean, it's not all about all the butterflies here and there and so on and so forth. It goes beyond that. It is seen, love is really seen in taking decisions, in deciding to take action, in deciding to chart a certain course. And that is how we see love. And so when all is said and done and all the feelings are gone and all the butterflies are gone, the question you need to ask yourself is, what keeps you in with your partner? What keeps you in with your spouse? And so your love is not demonstrated by those butterflies you have. Your love is not demonstrated by all the feelings you have. It is the actions that you take, right? And so that's why it is usually summed up that love is a decision. So in all our doings, in as we go through the changes of life, there would be days where you don't feel like you love your spouse. There will be days where you don't feel like your spouse is doing the right things, right, or is saying the right things. And so at that point, it will look like, did you make the right decision, right? And so it is in those days, it is in those times, and it's in those instances that you would need to demonstrate love, right? And so that scripture I referred to, I think that's Romans 5:8, right? It, God actually showed us his love at the point where we actually didn't deserve it, right? So when we were yet sinners, when at the point where we were the least to deserve the love of God, God showed us love by giving us his son to come to die for us, right? So practically in your marriages, in your relationships, on those days when you are angry, on those days when you don't feel all the lovey-dovey feelings and all, that is when your decision to actually be with your spouse comes to play. That is when you really have to underscore or underline that decision that you've made, that regardless of whatever, regardless of you always getting me annoyed, regardless of you always getting me um, at my wit's end, you are still the one I want to go with, and that is the acme of love. That is the highest point of love. It is so easy when things are okay to say you love someone. I mean, that's why usually people are surprised when in difficult times they have no one to turn to, right? Because that is when you really see who loves you and who doesn't love you. Hey, Folashade, good to have you. So today, the summary of my musing basically is the good times will be there. They will always be there, right? But it is the seemingly bad times, it is the seemingly negative times, it is the seemingly unhappy times where we can actually demonstrate our love. In fact, our love is more demonstrated the more when our spouse or our partner is at a point where it looks like he or she doesn't deserve our love, right? So that is when we can actually show great love, right? So um, there are times where your spouse might not necessarily be at his best or her best. I mean, in different ways, emotionally, financially, whatever. Generally, I mean, and people can get to a point where they are exhibiting the result of something that is going on in their lives. It's not necessarily because they hate you, or it's not because they are at a point where they don't necessarily love you. But think about it: someone who is going through an issue at work and all, whether the person knows it or not, might have an impact. Um, my show in different aspects of the person's life. So your husband or your wife all of a sudden is mute, that doesn't communicate, is not the person that you know him or her to be, and it can drive you crazy, right? Because you ask him a question, you ask her a question, blah blah blah, you are not getting any feedback. But that is when you can actually demonstrate your love. That is when your love is meaningful. That is when you are needed, right? It's not in the lovey-dovey times. It's when that person is less deserving of your love, or all of a sudden you realize that your spouse is also, I mean, um, make like so loud. You ask a simple question and it looks like the person is so loud. It's not ready to reason. It might be that something is going wrong at work, something is going wrong elsewhere in the extended family, or anywhere, right? That is when you will demonstrate your love. God commended his love. God demonstrated his love towards us in that while we were yet sinners, in that while we were less deserving of God's love. It might be that your partner has done something against you, that has committed an unforgivable sin. I mean, I don't even think there's anything like unforgivable sin, right? But your partner might have done something crazy against you and you go like, no, I can't forgive you, no, I can't. It is at that point that we really need to demonstrate love. It is at that point. I mean, everyone can love a nice person. Everyone can love people when things are going on well. Everyone can be all lovely and can easily flow and attach to people when things are going well. But it is when things go south that you can really tell true love. When things are not what they are expected to be. So um, people marry and they go like, oh, but this person has changed, or this wasn't how you were when I first married you, or this wasn't. It is at that point that a person needs your love the most. It is at that point that the person can make do, or make an advancement in life if you can show a little bit more of love, right? So um, there are instances where people are bereaved, right? You, it's more like a natural occurrence when you are grieving, right? You really remember people who stick with you in those times, right? Because it is at that point that everyone else is minding their business, but you seem not to forget people who always stick with you, right? So your spouse might be going through a not so good time of his or her life, and it could be things that the person has even done, like consciously, like gone ahead to do something to put you in pain, gone ahead to do something that is absurd, like eh, again unforgivable, right? But that is when we can demonstrate our love. So when all the feelings are gone, when all the butterflies are gone, you need to show your love. So I was telling my colleagues at work, I mean, we were just sitting down eating and we're discussing this, that is why it seems when you see a couple that has been married for 50 years or 60 years, at that point, it is not an an issue of, oh, there is so much emotional connection between them. There is so much like public display of affection, or something. But you can really see years and years of people who have consciously decided that regardless of whatever, I am staying with you. Regardless of whatever, you are the one I want to be with. And that is when you see love, right? And the reason we are seeing all the love is all the years of decision making that, hey, I am still going to be with you. Hey, I am with you in this for life. It's you're going to be my ride or die, as people say, right? So, say we go out there and we see two couples, one very, very young, they just got married. What we can learn from them is all the affection, all the emotions that are running wild and all, because yes, they just got married. But then when you look on the other side and you see a couple that have been married for a very long time, then you know that, hey, there is something beyond the physical that is connecting all those people. You can really, like, the love is palpable. It's so thick you can actually cut it with a knife, right? And this is as a result of constantly deciding that I am still going to be with you, because you are not going to marry a perfect person. You're not going to, and the funny aspect is that your spouse might not necessarily tick all the boxes you're looking at. Obviously, someone you marry should tick a number of boxes, right? So as many as possible. But as you get married, there might be something that you seem not to like. It might just be one, it might just be two, right? But all through it, that decision needs to be made that I am still with you. I am still going to be with you. I'll still stick by your side, right? Because again, we are humans. You never marry a perfect person. But the person can be perfect in your eyes, and even that is a decision as well. That, hey, regardless, I see you as my perfect person. And again, what I'm not saying, I'm not here saying that if your spouse is involved in something that needs addressing, you shouldn't address it. But all I'm saying is that in that low period, in that period when your spouse is not at his or her best, that is when we would really need to see love. That is when we really need to show love, demonstrate love. Again, but God commended his love towards us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So, lessons from this: go out there, um, consciously decide to demonstrate your love to your spouse at the time your spouse is being some way and is throwing tantrums here and there and all. Make it a conscious effort that is when you really want to demonstrate love to your spouse. That is when you really want to show your love your spouse that he or she is the best thing that ever happened to you. And let me also put out this disclaimer: it's not like it would come easy. It's not like all these things I'm saying, because at that point, think about it, you might be mad as well. What kind of behavior are you putting up? I mean, I'm talking to you, you're not listening to me. I've been saying this over and over again, and you keep doing the opposite. It's not like you would be in a jolly mood when you would have to take this decision, or when you have to take this action, right? It might be the point where you're so angry, but I want you to just have that moment where you really think through it, that, hey, he or she needs a lot of love at this point. He or she might. Because think about it. Most people, when the pocket is not so good, it sort of affects the emotions, right? So you see most people happy when they have money. If there is no money, they get angry. So as the saying goes, a hungry man is an angry man, right? So if there is nothing in the pocket, then the person is angry, like by default. Okay, so you see someone who is angry, then in your mind, oh, what kind of man have I married, or what kind of woman have I married, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it is at that point that you need to go out there, demonstrate your love to your spouse, and say, hey, yes, I know things are not really okay, but I have some money I've been keeping all the while. You can have this, and let's make do with it for the meantime, right? that is when you should really come through. That is when you should really come through to demonstrate your love. I think I've mentioned this before, but there was a man who had been married for a very long time, right? And the man was asked, I mean, how do you handle it when your wife is angry and your wife is all over the place and is creating a lot of hell for everyone? And the man actually said that it is at this point, so anytime there is an argument and the wife is all angry and mad and screaming and everything, the man just keeps saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. Think about it. It even gets to the point where it sounds quite funny, right? Like one person wants to argue and one person is only saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. And that goes in there to diffuse whatever situation it is, right? So there's a clear demonstration of what, not necessarily the proclamation of love, but what demonstrating the love. This is even just in words, not necessarily in deeds, right? So it goes to show how demonstrating your love for your partner in a not so good situation can go a long way. I mean, to diffuse whatever situation. Hey, Joel, good to have you. Yeah. So again, if we're not taking anything at all from today's session, I'm sure you if you've been married for a while or you are in a relationship, that there's been a time where your spouse, whether your husband, your wife, or your fiancé or whatever, is so mad and it will not listen to anything and it's out there. It looks like all hell is breaking loose. Remember, you can take a cue from that old man. Just be whispering to your spouse as your spouse is all out there. I love you. Just keep saying it. At the point, you might also be angry, and it might not be necessarily a nice thing to say at that point. Like it's not a natural thing to say at that point. It's like this guy or this lady is misbehaving. Why do I keep whispering to the person that I love you? I mean, but God demonstrated his love towards us in that whilst we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And so look out for that moment when your spouse is mad, angry, and all. And that's the best point to let your spouse know that you love them. Get the best gift for your spouse, not when they are making you happy, but probably when they are in not so good a place, when it looks like they are down, when it looks like things are not really going well, or when it looks like they have actually wronged you. That is a point to demonstrate your love. Hey, Akimbola, good to have you. Oh, yeah. So Akimbola is asking, where is Prissy? Yes, Prissy is busy in the lab. So she set up an experiment, and unfortunately, she needs to do something on the setup at a certain point in time. And that time would be when we were having the event. And so today, Prissy is not here to support. She wanted to join actually, but that would also disrupt the flow. So yeah, but Prissy will definitely be here next week, God willing. Okay, yeah, so that is the message for today. But God demonstrated his love towards us in that while we're yet sinners, Christ died for us. Look out for when your spouse is not in the best of places and demonstrate your love. Okay, now before we wrap up for today, in the month of July, the last month of July, we're going to have a unique Dear Van experience. So this is what we want. We'll be having a road trip a DFN road trip. You can take it. You can call it that. So we'll be driving about some thousands of miles, right? And all through that will be on your screen, sharing stuff. I mean, having fun, interacting, and so on and so forth. So this is what we would have you do. If there is anything, oh, Prissy just sent a message somewhere that she's here. Yeah, Prissy. So yeah, we can see you. We can see you watching from the flanks, right? Okay, so if this is what we want to do. I'm sure there are a lot of topics that have crossed your mind that you might want us to discuss and learn from. I mean, we always learn from all the topics we discuss as well. So this is what we want you to do, because it's going to be at least maybe like 30 hours or 40 hours of just having the event, right? And so go out there, send us topics you want us to discuss, because it's going to be a long drive. A long drive. It's over like 40 hours of driving and so on and so forth. So go out there, tell us what you want us to discuss, and we would we'll segment them, take one at a time, and then discuss them. You would also be with us and make it interactive as usual. So it is the end of July. Remember, end of July, we're going to start, I mean, day after day after day of the event. It's not just going to be a Saturday event. We're going to have, like, on weekdays and all, we're going to get very, very interactive, have fun, and then bring a lot of life into marriages. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm sure Prissy is also looking forward to that, because it always affords us a learning experience. It's always good to as I always say, when I see very young couples, I really love it, because I see how they are all over each other and all. Then I learn from that. When I see older couples, I see people who have constantly made a decision to be with each other, and it's always awesome to learn from. So, hey, make a date with us. End of July, let's say starting somewhere 26th, 27th of July, we're going to have a marathon of DFN episodes. So it will be episode after episode after episode. Hey, MFA, good to have you. Yeah, Prissy, I can see you here. Finally, it's been a long stretch. Speaking for 30 minutes non-stop. It's no joke. Okay, so Prissy, at this point, I really appreciate you. I mean, having you and you chiming in here and there and making the program what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sticking with us. And again, if you've not liked our page, if you've not followed our page, hey, come on, go out there, hit like. No one charges you for it. It's free, right? So hit a like, follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on TikTok. I'll let our admin post all the handles on our Facebook page. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram and all that. Follow us. Hey, yeah, MFI, it's good to see you after how many years? Maybe close to 20 years. Really good to see you. Yeah, so thank you so much. Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thank you. It's bye for now. Cheers.